podium. But yeah, flawless race that he could just control. He was in position, he could just control that race.
Come on in, Laurent. Congratulations.
Thank you guys, thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
I was just saying there, 104 points 4 races ago. That was the difference between Max and Oscar. It's down to 40. You're in this, aren't you?
You know, at first it's probably our strongest weekend. You know, for sure in a long while on a burning hot track, where you know in the past it's been tricky for us in these conditions. Max kept increasing the gap to competitions through every session. Really, you know, from if you think back to how tight it was on Friday, even though he was on pole, and now to proper near dominations, you know, today. So it's a big well done to everyone back at base. Has been taking risk all weekend, not taking everything for granted, and ultimately found more and more performance as the weekend went through. So honestly, we are going to keep that approach. We don't look at the big numbers. We look at what we can learn every session, how we can get the best possible car on the ground in Mexico in a week time.
When I asked you earlier in the weekend if you could sweep the weekend, even I wasn't 100% sure that was able to happen with how strong McLaren's been, but you did just that. So where is that coming from? Is that Max executing at the highest level? Is that McLaren being on the back foot with bad luck? Is this some improvements that you've been making? Or is it really a culmination of all of those things?
You know, all I can tell you is what I think it is everyone back at the factory, 1,500 people are working to extract that. You know, they have a small part of lap time in their hands. It may not show on any trackers, but the work they are putting in is just unbelievable, and it's adding up. They are taking risk. It's uncomfortable. They are pushing. They are on both fronts with next year car and this year car, and they have been able to unlock so much. And Max has been driving at an incredible level. You know, we have to to probably admit that we are witnessing something quite extraordinary, and altogether it has produced that turnaround.
Yeah, 23 points out of Oscar this weekend over the 2 days. It's unbelievable, it really is. How do you lead that going forward? Because there must be so much adrenaline for you guys at the moment. You have to be thinking about Max fighting for that World Championship with only 40 points. How do you lead that? What do you say when you speak to the guys in the debrief and tomorrow? How do you keep them in the right frame of mind and not get too excited?
You know, they know what to do. That's the truth. They know what to do. It's a team that loves racing. We go racing, taking risks. They have always been going racing, taking risks. And the focus and the intensity, to try to answer your questions, is still on this weekend, on learning whatever we can still learn out of this weekend, and on putting the best possible car down to Mexico. And the rest will just be the consequence.
Laurent, at the start of this season, I don't want to ask you how you're doing, because I can't imagine you expected to be leading Red Bull going into a championship fight right down to the wire, but it looks like you might be doing that. Are you mentally prepared for this, or are you just, you know, doing what you do day to day as well? How are you handling all of this?
You know, the truth is you do what you have to do day to day. That's what you do. So honestly, we are all competitive people up and down the pit lane. We are passionate about what we do, and if you are in the midfield or if you are at the top, you are still looking for that ultimate performance. I think the biggest difference when you fight for the top position is that there is no story that you can make up out of the weekend. It's either you win or you don't, and you know that adds intensity, that adds pressure, but it's a pressure we like.
Okay, final.
Is there anything, I know everything is usually focused on 2026 for sure at this point in time. Is there anything that you can do in this last little part, now that that championship is in reach now, that you can transfer some efforts into this season?
In a reactive manner, no. So meaning in reactions to our performance, no. But as you know, we think we have in terms of development, everything is on 26. However, in terms of analyzing the race weekend, understanding the directions we are taking, seeing where are the gains, where are the losses, there is always a part of our team that is looking at that.
Happy to see Yuki grab some reasonable points.
Yeah, it's very, very important as well for him. You know, he scored points in the sprint race yesterday. He scored point today in the main race from quite far back. He had a good pace. It's important for him. It's important for the championships. He can also play a role in some race scenarios. So very happy for him. It's been a tough season, and you know, after the blip of Singapore, he's back on his proper progression.
Well done, Laurent. We'll let you go and
Thank you,
celebrate
guys.
with the team and debrief as well. And when we come back, so we'll say goodbye to viewers on Main Event. We'll continue.
Hi, Oscar. Sorry. I'm not going to talk about points and everything else to you at the moment. What I want to ask you is, how much do you want to focus on qualifying, I guess, going forward? Because that seems to be so important this season, to get that qualifying right. And it's something you had early on, and it just seems to have slipped away a bit.
Yeah, it is very important, wherever you go. I think today race pace could have saved you, but I didn't really have that either. So, yeah, it's something I want to work on, obviously, but I think qualifying still generally has been, consistently good. There's obviously been the highs at certain points, but this weekend, apart from Baku, has really been the first weekend where it's been a letdown. Even if it's been subpar before, it's still been pretty good. So yeah, some things to try and understand from this weekend, because clearly it wasn't just related to qualifying.
Do you know which areas you want to work on? Do you know which areas you want to look at? Is it the car? Is it the circuits that we've been on recently?
I think, trying to work out why I just didn't gel with the car this weekend is the first port of call, I guess. Was just difficult to get into a rhythm at all, and that's been the big difference compared to other circuits that we've been to, even more recently.
Just finally from me, you are still leading the Drivers' Championship right now. Max is launching one heck of an attack though behind you. Do you feel like there might come a point where the team will need to prioritise either you or Lando, maybe whoever's leading the championship, whatever it comes down to, in order to win this year? Would you want them to?
I don't know. I don't think so. We're still so incredibly tight, and we've both said we wanted an opportunity to try and fight for the championship because we deserve it. So I think it's far too close to start picking one over the other.
Thank you. Well done.
He's obviously extremely deflated because he's had one of those weekends. He's had 3 on the spin now. Jensen, talk to me about the pressure again. We talked about it at the top of leading a championship when you get into a little bit of a spiral like this. What's he going through?
Yeah, and the car's obviously not working for him either. He hasn't forgotten how to drive.
No, we know that.
Yeah, that's the thing. But he'll be driving around going, why can't I drive this car like my teammate can and like I could before? And yeah, the pressure builds when things start going wrong, and then you might go in a slightly wrong direction on setup as well. And it's difficult to find your way out of that. And it's having the right people around you in that scenario. He's got his head screwed on. He's very intelligent, but there's so much pressure. This is pressure that no racing driver ever feels until you fight for a world championship in F1.
Oh, obviously didn't have the setup that he required this weekend. That was obvious, wasn't it? Because it's just been...
He's behind Lando the
as
whole
you
time.
said, yeah, 3/10 off his teammate all weekend.
Look, I mean, that I don't think that that's not completely uncharacteristic lately. I think Lando stepped it up a little bit, but it just was not a rhythm for him. And here we are back at a different kind of track, much faster, higher speed. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they've lost something. Maybe others have gained. But definitely the rhythm got off. And I think that, what he really needs to do is there's two camps of thought, right? There's like protect your position and be safe, or you go at it with the more aggressive, I'm just here to win every weekend, which, I think is not a bad idea. I think when you are a driver and you start second guessing or changing the way that you do anything and you're trying to be careful, I think that's when mistakes happen. I think that's when you're out of your own rhythm. Like, you need to stay in your rhythm, which is go after absolutely everything that you can, which can make it more risky. But it also, I think, negates some of those in-between moments that there's misunderstandings like we've seen lately, I think.
How much did you rely on your team, your close team around you, when you're in a situation like this? And I'm thinking of Tom Stallard, his race engineer. You know those guys very well. How do they pull him back round?
Well, I think for them, it's just giving him as much information as he is willing to look at, of trying to understand where the loss is, where it's not working for him, the car, and where it was working for Lando in this race. But there's 2 different pods of groups of people that he needs around him. One is that team, and then there's the other team. There's the team of people that are there and that have supported him and been through a lot with him.
Mark.
Yeah, so for me, it was having my physio there, Mikey, having my manager, my dad, having that group around me that really helped me through difficult times. And initially you're like, I know everything. Why? How can these people help me?
Yeah.
I'm the driver. I'm the guy that is fighting for a world championship. But it's not about that. It's about the other stuff they see out the car that you can still improve.
And the energy, right? You're talking about sort of your group, your support team, to put you in the right frame of mind so that it's easier to get into that rhythm. That plays a huge role. I always noticed that in my own career, just like when I was happier and when everything was easier and smooth, things tend to go better on track. So they've had a little drama lately.
Yeah, they have. In uncharted territory, isn't it, for both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri.
Well, Andrea, P2 and P5. Oscar almost got Lewis at the end there, but how would you classify that as a result?
Well, it's a result that is important. After not having scored any points yesterday in the sprint, it was important today to bring home some points with both drivers. Confirm that we have the pace to compete for the win. I think today, without having to deal with Lando, with Leclerc for pretty much the entire race, it would have been an interesting fight with Verstappen for the win. This is positive to confirm after some difficult races previously. Something to review on Oscar's side. The pace wasn't great today, but I'm sure he will come back strong in Mexico. So overall, not what we wanted, because we wanted the victory, but some encouraging results for the remainder of the season.
How much do you think the pace was compromised by not having the data from the sprint race?
Well, as we have said a few times, when you don't have the data from the sprint race, you have to accept that you're not going to maximize some setup parameters which come with a lot of performance. So we knew that we were a little compromised, and in a way this reassures us even more that the pace is in the car, and we need to do a good job in extracting this pace for the future races.
Still think you can hang on to 1 and 2 in the Drivers' Championship?
Definitely that's the mission. That's what we are working hard for. I think we have learned a few things over the course of these last 4 races in which we were not scoring the usual results. There's been good learning. I'm sure this will be important for the finale of this season, and definitely optimistic that we can achieve the P1, P2.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Hi Lewis, hi. If I'd told you on Friday that you were going to end up 4th in the Grand Prix on Sunday, you probably wouldn't have believed me, would you? So does this feel like a really good recovery and comeback weekend for you and the team?
Yeah, good result, amazing result for the team. 3rd and 4th, good points. Great to finish ahead of the Mercedes team to get those points, and even ahead of a McLaren. So yeah, definitely a positive. And I went forwards even after a bad start, so lots and lots of positives to take from it. I think there's naturally I want to be further up, so just got to keep working at it, but we're definitely on the right path.
The strategy for Charles to start on the soft looked like the best strategy today. It really worked out pretty well. Is that an area where maybe they can improve on your side, or would you have been able to do something with that strategy today as well? Is that an area you want to look at?
It's a difficult one. I think it was clearly the quickest strategy in the end. For me, going on to them, I lost obviously so much time. I was kind of right with them. Obviously, before Charles' stop, I was right with him, and then to come out 10 seconds behind, that definitely was a far too big a deficit for me to try and catch, and I couldn't close the gap at all. So a bit unfortunate with that in that respect. But considering we've not been upgrading the car for us to be kind of in the fight, it shows that the team's done a really, really great job this weekend. So I hope everyone back at the factory is happy, and yeah, we're definitely on the right path. I'm so close, still not got that podium, but I'll keep trying.
Thank you.
I think you caught Pirelli out as well, but with regards to the strategy, because you heard the question mark coming from Max Verstappen over whether Lando could have started on the softs, but actually on paper what we were being told was that the quickest way to do this was medium hard. That didn't happen for anyone.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that because Charles ran so long on that soft tyre, everyone's like, oh, maybe this is a good option. So they all, I guess you could say, took the risk of running a soft at the end. It seemed like a long time on a set of softs, but it panned out nicely.
And he was strong at the beginning. He was keeping up with Max and, giving him a little bit of a run early on. So, yeah, I think that baited a lot of people. I'm thinking maybe, later in the race, a little more rubber down. Maybe they'll last a little bit longer. Yeah. put them in.
As we mentioned yesterday, though, what they did do well this weekend, Ferrari, is rebuild after going the wrong way and set up for the sprint. They took it out park firm. They got it right for the qualifying race.
They did. Pace was much better, you know, to be up there with the McLarens, and they weren't quite on the pace of, I guess, of Lando and of Max, but apart from those two, they had really good pace, and they obviously tried two different strategies. I don't know if we have it, but the start of Lewis was really interesting. We haven't talked about it. I don't think we've really shown it. But he started, obviously, quite far up. He lost about 4 or 5 places off the start. He went backwards at the start.
Yeah.
And he dived down the outside at turn 1 and gave it his all. And he comes out in P4. Amazing. It's like Lewis, yep, he's still got it.
Yeah, he has. There's something that's just clicked. Last few races, you know, it's little gains, isn't it? And get things right for 2026.
There's nothing that feels better than finishing up your weekend with a good race result. No matter what else has happened in the weekend, that always seems to send you home in a good mood. And they should be. I mean, Mexico is the next race, which Carlos won for Ferrari last year. 3rd place was Charles, and Lewis was 4th. So, you know, some hope and optimism for the next one, too.
OK, for Mercedes, a mixed day. We saw Kimi Antonelli coming together with Carlos Sainz and George Russell in the end finishing in 6th. So let's hear from Toto Wolff first.
Well, Toto, everyone at Mercedes here in the garage and everyone at Brackley gives their all every weekend. How would you sum up the weekend? You got some points, but maybe not as many as you deserve.
Yeah, I mean, the push that we're having back home in Brixworth and in Brackley is enormous with this dual program, and that's why it's disappointing that we aren't able, you know, to monetize on this on the good car at the moment. Tricky start, and then obviously Kimi was taken out by Sainz, and the race afterwards wasn't good. So yeah, it's a shame for, you know, I just need to say thank you for all of the hard work that's happening at home, but today maybe in the car was not great.
George was closing on Oscar a little bit. Maybe something was possible.
Yeah, I think the only opportunity would have been the undercut, but that's also difficult whether you make it all the way to the end. Overtaking is really bad, and the pace wasn't there.
Okay, see you in Mexico. Thanks.
George, was your race ultimately decided at the start today?
Yeah, it was. I made a good start, like off the line, but Max covered Lando, and I expected Lando to go to the outside to defend from Charles, and he didn't. And I just got stuck behind him and overtaken by Lewis and Oscar, so that was really frustrating. But right now in F1, it's a race to turn 1. You know, there's no tyre degradation. There's only, you know, 3 tenths between the quickest car and the slowest car in the top 6, and normally you need at least half a second to overtake. So, you know, if I came out of turn 1 in P3, I'd have been on the podium today. But instead I came out in P6 and I finished P6.
5 races to go. Ferrari have got some good points today. How much is this battle? How fierce is this battle between you guys, and how important is it to finish ahead of them?
Well, at this rate, Red Bull are going to be ahead of us. So, you know, it swings so quickly. Ferrari qualified 9th and 10th in the sprint race. If that was the main race, you know, that'd have been a lot of points to us, and they'd have had a bad weekend. And as I said, it's such fine margins. If I was 20 milliseconds quicker in qualifying yesterday, I'd have been on the front row and, you know, probably on course to finish 2nd in the race. And yeah, it's just, as I said, qualifying's massive. Turn 1 is massive, and I mean, I don't even remember the last 2-stop race in F1 now. It's just quite processional, unfortunately.
Just finally, do you think, can you look at any races coming up in the final 5 that will be good for you, that you can have a positive outlook on, or is it going to be incredibly fierce all the way?
I think Qatar and Vegas realistically are our 2 best shots, but again, it all just comes down to the lap in qualifying. If you do the job, I'm just watching the replay of Kimi and Carlos. Kimi and Carlos. It just comes down to that lap in qualifying. You know, if you do a really strong lap and you're on the front row, you can hold the position, and if you don't, it's going to be the same in Mexico. So yeah, it's going to come down to Q3 and the race start.
Keep selling it, George, come on. But he's saying actually what a lot of fans have been thinking, and they've been quite vocal on social media about this being, we've discussed it over the course of the season, about being more of a qualifying championship now, and he's made that point there.
He has, yeah. He was a bit down, but He did win a race not long ago.
I know. I did think he minded then if it was processional.
Yeah, exactly. But that's kind of they're more used to that on a street circuit, I guess. But yeah, it is a little bit. And the tyre deck was so low today, which is really surprising. But I think when we get to the circuits like Mexico, it's very low downforce because we're at altitude, even though they run the big fat rear wings. So hopefully we'll see a bit more deck there and it'll be a bit more difficult. It's difficult on brakes as well.
Tire manufacturers have the opportunity and the ability to make the racing product very different if they want. I think the problem coming from experience is that they don't ever want to hear anything bad about them, right? They don't want to hear anybody complain about tires. They make them last forever, but it's not as entertaining. It's always far more interesting when there's something to lose and something to gain with tires, and that it's not just a processional race like George was saying. I don't know. Maybe this could inspire some shake-up there, because that would change the racing for sure.
Okay, George alluded to it. Let's have a quick look. Incident as of yet, but that put pay to his race. It spun round. That was the end of proceedings for Carlos. What did you make of that?
It looked like Sainz went for a move that was late. He realized that it was too late, and that Kimi had turned in. He tried to break out of it, locked up, and in turn that's what drove him into the side of Kimi.
Not the best spot to go. You know, like when you make a move in an unusual place, then you get an unusual result. You know, it's kind of like the turn one sprint race.
Yeah.
You make an unusual move and you get an unusual result. So I don't know, it was not the spot to do it.
Okay, let's hear from them both.
Hi, Carlos. Just tell us what happened and your point of view on the Antonelli incident.
Yeah, I was coming quick after having done a very good move on Oli the 2 laps before. That exactly same corner, exactly same pass. With Oli it worked perfectly. With Kimi, I think he was being a bit more aggressive on the defense, started closing in on me quite aggressively, and when I saw we were about to crash because he was closing the angle, I hit the brakes harder, locked up, and that's what created the crash. In the end, I know it from the outside, it looks like a clear mistake from my side. From the inside, having done that move the previous lap or 2 laps before, yes, I could have avoided the lockup, but it felt a bit more aggressive from Kimi than from Oli.
So will that be your defence because they're investigating after the race?
I mean, I've done that move multiple times around this track. I've done it with Charles, with Oli that lap, with many drivers, and I felt like Kimi could have done made each other's life a little bit easier, but ultimately, if I lock up, it's always going to look like it's my fault. Unfortunately, that's the case, and I will move on independently of what they decide.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kimi, I've just spoken to Carlos. Can you tell me your point of view of what happened?
Well, I've just looked at the image, and I don't think he was even going to make the corner without me. He was very optimistic. He even locked up. So, yeah, just also looking at the angle of his car, it was pointing completely towards the wall, so it wasn't pointing in the right direction. So, just a shame that my race was ruined, and his as well. So, yeah.
It had looked up until that point, though, that this was a much better weekend for you. Again, you're getting a series of these, stringing them together. Are you feeling better and more confident in the car?
Yeah, I mean, I was feeling pretty good in the car, and I think pace was pretty decent. Just very difficult behind other cars, and deck today was very big. So, yeah, just need to move on and focus on Mexico.
Okay, there we go. So, with the stewards, Carlos Sainz. When we come back, we'll wrap up the day.
Ollie, we saw the moment with Yuki, and ultimately you lost 2 positions because of it. Can you just tell us it from your point of view?
Yeah, for me, what he did was unfair. I felt what he did was against the rules and against the spirit of the regulations and what we raced to. You know, it was 2 laps that I was trying to fight with him. Clearly, I had more pace at that stage. And every time I was looking at the move on the inside in 12, in the inside in 13, and on the inside in 15, he was moving in reaction. And moving in reaction is something that we can't do at these speeds with this car. You know, it's dangerous. And when I went for the move on the inside on that occasion, he saw me do that and reacted to my move. And by the time I'm committed to braking, I can't disappear. So. Honestly, we're very lucky to have avoided a big crash. Just very disappointed that resulted in P9 for us today.
Will you be speaking to him?
No, I don't think it's the first time he's done something like that, and it's definitely not going to be the last time. Clearly, with the way he's driving, I mean, we saw him in quali yesterday complaining. You know, he's trying really hard, and it's not working. You know, twice in turn one, he dive bombed on lap one, taking incredible risks. So, yeah, I don't think it's worth even trying to make him understand my view.
Thanks, Sam. I know Laura Mekies has praised you, your first lap. Again, great first lap to move you up quite a few places. But how did the rest of the race pan out for you after that?
Yeah, I just start once again, able to score, gain the positions quite a lot. Also coming laps, especially first 5 laps, the pace was really, really good, and overtake a couple of cars as well there. Yeah, I think overall pace was okay. Second stage, I could have done slightly better job than that, but overall, yeah, scoring both races was good.
Ollie's been talking to us about seeing you moving under braking and that he wasn't happy about it. Can I get your take on it?
I don't think I moved under the braking, and yeah, it's just a bit unfortunate how we ended up in that race like that. I think especially we're having a good fight until then, so yeah, that's it.
And he also mentioned sort of your moves at turn one up the inside, and he said that's 2 races now you've done that. I mean, I'm just giving you a right to reply, basically.
So what, braking, he didn't like mid overtake in that corner?
I think it was, yeah, maybe he thought it was late. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he mentioned you going into turn one quite hot in both races.
That's the racing, right? And I mean, I didn't feel it was, I was fully in control. I didn't have any lockup, so, and I was literally side by side there, so yeah, I'm not his teammate. I'm just fighting for, you know, being a top 10 or, you know, top 10 or more. So yeah, I thought it was okay.
And you got some good points today. Well done.
Lee Behrman, what did we think? Danica.
Look, I believe Ollie. Alonso had a good dive bomb into turn 1 on the start, but Yuki had an even bigger one on the start. So, look, this is kind of his style. So, and that's what Ollie said. He's like, what's the point of talking to him? This is just his way. So, and obviously, he's under a lot of pressure right now. He's 4th out of all the Red Bull drivers, and he's trying to keep a seat.
I don't really know where Yuki was going, to be fair, on that one. It looked like he was going to be driving over the grass on the inside, because he was obviously looking in the mirrors, waiting to see if Ollie was going to try and go down the inside, and he turns left, and he would have been on the grass if he didn't turn back out again. So he's 100% reacting to what Ollie's doing behind him in a braking zone. He also braked unbelievably early for that corner, which causes an issue for the cars behind. So yeah, I think Yuki was in the wrong there. But what Ollie said about Yuki into turn 1, that's fair game, because he braked late. He did a great job. Both starts did an amazing job and came out and gained loads of positions. So, you know, you got to do all you can to gain places. I just think the move with Ollie was a bit off.
On the subject of Yuki, though, it's important to discuss this. 16 points he's got in the last 3 races. He only got 12 points in the 16 prior to that. We talked to Dr. Helmut Marko yesterday, and he said that decisions were going to be made post-Mexico. It's clear how much that Red Bull has improved, but it's also helped Yuki because he's also improving along with Max Verstappen. Is it going to be enough, or is it too little too late, do you think, Danica? Or both of you?
That second Red Bull seat's a tough spot. I mean, there's a lot of pressure, and you have a very, very high standard with Max there, and it's a very volatile position that moves around. A lot of those drivers. So, you know, I feel for all the Red Bull drivers, generally speaking. They're always, I feel like, under the gun to truly perform time in and time out, and Yuki especially right now. So is it too little too late? I mean, I don't know, maybe if he goes out and wins Mexico, maybe they'll think twice, but...
Yeah, we're talking about he did a better job. He finished 7th still. He scored some points, but you know, he finished 52 seconds behind Max Verstappen, his teammate. It's almost his second a lap, which is quite a lot.
Okay.
What do you think, Simon?
I don't have an opinion. I'm opinionless. Let's wrap up the top 10 with Nico Hülkenberg and Fernando Alonso.
Nico, that was a great job today. You must be pleased you've got in the points.
Yeah, very. Bit of payback after yesterday. It was obviously pretty disappointing for everyone in the team. The sprint, so yeah, kind of a happy end after all, with a bit of help from obviously racing circumstances. But I think our pace was pretty decent. In the midfield battle, probably the fastest car this weekend here. Maybe apart from Williams, but anyway, they had some trouble. But no, happy that we got 4 points. It's been a while, so that feels nice.
Well done, Sven. Thank you. Fernando, that looked like a fantastic battle for you to hang on to that final point today. Is that how it felt?
Yeah, the race pace was not maybe what we wanted today, so yeah, I realized that already in the first stint. So it was a defending race, and yeah, we managed to score 1 point, but yeah, we were hoping for something more probably.
Can you look at any of the races coming up to think there are points opportunities in those, or is it going to be a battle all the way to the end?
I hope Brazil and Qatar, probably the best opportunities. Mexico, Vegas will be tough.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Keeps on battling, doesn't he, Fernando Alonso? Whilst this might look like a bizarre album cover, let's look ahead to Mexico. State of the championship right now. Opinions on whether we think Max Verstappen is going to do this?
Well, I think if you haven't been watching Formula One, you have to watch Formula One now, because this is an epic end to the season. Watch Formula One, because this is going to be an amazing end of the year. You've got 2 guys fighting for their first world championship and a 4-time world champion.
Lovely.
There you go.
Lovely stuff.
Max Verstappen in top form, cars running better. He's on point, getting everything, even more than he normally does out of the car, executing those brilliant qualifying laps. I think if he can keep stressing McLaren out a little bit, he needs to be a professional. Maybe on the back scenes, he needs to help out with the media, because I think the media did not serve McLaren so well all weekend.
Who's going to win this time? If you had a dollar, or however much you would like to put on it, who are you better on now?
I would actually say Lando at the moment is looking the strongest. He's got confidence, and I think it will come to him in terms of the car over the next few races. I would say Lando, but then Max is coming strong, isn't he?
I'm going to say Max, honestly. When Max gets out front, when his car is good, look at his qualifying for the race today. 3/10 ahead of second, and which was Lando, and he was struggling, he said, but still 3/10. These are starting to get onto like old Max form numbers.
That's your lot. Thanks, Danica. Thanks, Jensen. Appreciate you at home. As I said, next up for us, Mexico City. I've got some leather chaps here, which I'm going to throw to Jensen, and he can stick them on and get on the ball. We've had a lot of fun here, but not half as much fun as Max Verstappen has. He is your race winner here in Austin. We'll see you in a week's time in Mexico. From us all here, bye-bye.